Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club.
From the East Coast to the West Coast, we are everywhere true crime is. We are asking for the public's help. We are searching in the woods. We are doing what it takes here on the Bullhorn Betty channels to find answers to the most alarming cases we have been watching on the news. I can tell you personally that I have traveled this entire country seeking these answers and bringing that content right here to you here on the Bullhorn Betty channels and Bullhorn Betty Crime Stories. We are happy with the work that we've done. We've brought many answers to the public, and we have defied mainstream media in our pursuit of the truth in these cases. We will continue to work, we will continue to fight for these victims, and we will continue to tell their stories here on my channels. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty brand of channels and the Coffee Club. Thank you for your love, thank you for your support, and more importantly, thank you for allowing me to bring these victims' stories to each and every one of you, advocating for each of these victims. God bless you. God bless America, and more importantly, God bless our victims.
Let me tell y'all something. You ain't got to ever worry about getting nobody back for some shit they done did to you. Because quiet as it's kept, everybody working get paid. Let me break that down so you understand what I mean. Everybody working, getting paid. See, some of you motherfuckers don't even know that you're working. But payday comes after a while, bitch. You being messy, you're working. You gossiping about people, you're working. You stealing, lying, cheating, or just all around doing some fuck shit, you're working. And payday is on its motherfucking way. Ha ha! Let me tell you something, you working motherfuckers. Some of you bitches got overtime in that bitch too. Ooh, that payout gonna be good. So when you get your check, bitch, don't complain. You worked for it.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.
Well, hello. Hopefully everybody can hear me. There we go. Okay, now I can hear myself. Hello, guys. It's been a while since we have been on the StreamYard. So we're coming here with some breaking news. This is not really part of our show, but it broke while we were preparing for the show this morning. We've been covering Javea Harris on our main channel. She's a 4-year-old child out of Aiken, South Carolina. I actually did some reporting boots on the ground when she was disappeared, when they were searching for her. They actually searched my car. We'll be covering this also on the main channel in the morning. But since this is breaking and this is our breaking news coverage, I am pulling it in this morning for you guys to hear the latest breaking update on her case. It's terrible, folks. It is terrible. I'm going to prepare you for a few things right now. Human remains were found by state law enforcement. The testing indicates that the remains are consistent with the mom and father's DNA. They used corrosive chemicals to accelerate the destruction of her body. They poured whatever was left into Cedar Creek Reservoir. The sheriff out there describes this nothing short of horrific, refusing to even call the mom and father mom or dad. They do not deserve that designation, according to the sheriff. So we're going to turn it right on over to this breaking news coverage released right now. It's going to go to a press conference with the sheriff out there, or the police chief of Aiken County Sheriff. So it'd be the sheriff out there, and he was shaken. Okay, so I just wanted to let you guys know he was shaken. Thank you so much. I love that. Don't forget, if you are a member, you have milestones. Please do not forget to use them. It is nice to see everybody. Come on in. We are doing our breaking news coverage. This is kind of on our smaller channel, but we will make it the best we can for anybody that's interested in updated breaking criminal news.
What if that was my child? They put on the parent hat, and that's really what tugs at their heartstrings. I've come to find out here. And seeing the parents and grandparents who have brought their kids and grandkids out to the memorial to leave some toys behind for Javea, I go back to when that memorial first started. There was nothing there but a couple of flowers and a gray stuffed elephant. And
we thought that was great at the time, right?
Yeah, we thought that was a sweet gesture, and it certainly was. And we spoke to the person who left that behind, and they
I will tell you that we, in these cases, there always needs to be a place for a memorial, because, when they look at these children, it tears at our heartstrings. The details of this case are something short of horrific, but they tear at our heartstrings. So this little girl, for it to get to this point, this poor little 4-year-old girl has gone through some stuff in her 4 years on this earth. Okay, you don't get from being a happy little girl to being poured into the creek because you have a great lifestyle. Something was going on inside this home. This child was abused multiple times. Remember I said yesterday that they're probably going to be able to find that there are some, healed prior injuries to her. Well, they're never going to be able to find that. They made a statement today that the little bit of her remains that they did find, that's going to be all they're going to be able to find. The details are, like I said, be prepared. This is a viewer discretion. Please, if there's any little children or little ears that can hear, this is not an adult conversation. This is not an adult conversation. So you might want to move them or get some earbuds or something like that. This is going to make your skin crawl. Okay, folks? I'm just letting you know, this is going to make your skin crawl. Oh, thank you, Deanna. It's nice to see you. We appreciate your new membership. Welcome to this crazy family we call the Coffee Club, i.e. the Insane Asylum. Where's my screamy? Mama, OG, love being Betty fan. Welcome. It's nice to see you guys. Come on in. We have breaking news coverage right now. Breaking news coverage. This is about Javea Harris. She's a little 4-year-old girl that disappeared out there in Aiken County, South Carolina. We did a boots on the ground segment for her when she went missing. And now, we're full circle. Mom and dad are in jail. Sheriff doesn't even want to call them mom and dad. He speaks about this poor little girl living a horrific life.
Told us that they wanted to go out with their grandchild because their grandchild said that they wanted to leave that stuffed animal behind so Javea could have some toys. And certainly that message has spread. And it's a beautiful thing to witness how these kids care about her. I mean, a lot of the kids that I saw show up yesterday were what I can assume to be close in age to her, just little girls leaving behind
excuse me, guys.
Minnie Mouse dolls. I saw tiaras.
We can only imagine it may even continue to grow more over the next few days as this case continues. People wearing pink. We saw the sheriff's office wearing their pink. We all wore it here at News 12 yesterday in support of Javea. And I think we said together we hoped and together we mourn. And that's kind of been what's going on, not just in that community, but us here at the station and people really around the country. This story has caught on.
Okay. Here's the press conference, folks. Let me pause this real quick. Hold on. Okay. This is where I definitely recommend. Yep, there it is right there. That's what I'm about to, that was just exactly what I was about to say. Guys, I'm going to let you know this update is highly disturbing. It's not, I mean, it is a little bit graphic, but this is a little 4-year-old girl. And I just want to let you guys know that this is, he does it as technical as possible. So he's using technical terms. He's not being overly graphic, but I think the charges and the terms of language he's using speaks for itself. It's really sad. So if this kind of stuff bothers you, you might want to just come back in a few minutes.
Good morning.
Can everybody hear well?
I'm Marty Sawyer, and I'm the sheriff in Aiken County. Thank you for being here today, especially the citizens of Aiken that's come in. Thank you for being here. And I'm here to provide an update.
Let's see if I can update
on the investigation that we've been investigating the death of 4-year-old Javelia Harris. These updates never get easier to share.
Wait just a second.
This past week has been heart-wrenching for everyone, but we've seen an outpouring of support in Aiken County and a massive joint law enforcement effort to search for and now to seek justice for Javelia Harris. Personally, there's some very harsh words that I would like to use about Jamaria and Michelle and their actions. But I will not do that. And I will not do that to protect and maintain the integrity of this case. But I will tell you this. I will not refer to them as mom and dad or mother or father. They don't deserve that title.
No, they don't.
I stand before you saying this is one of the most difficult, deeply disturbing, and emotionally taxing investigations this office has ever worked, and it's weighed heavily on this sheriff's office, all these other law enforcement agencies, all these people behind me that's worked tirelessly to bring this to an end, and it's weighed heavily on our community.
I can tell you that when we were out there, they had 2 command centers. They had the command center for Aiken County Sheriff out there, and they had the command center for SLED. That was the South Carolina Law Enforcement Division. And SLED was out there along with them. And when I pulled up, I mean, I was trying to find out where, you know, they were staging for media because I had already gotten notification. They're not asking for any searchers. They're not asking for anybody to be out there. They wanted everybody to stay out of the area because they were doing an investigation. And we did notate that this is the first time out of all the children, missing children cases we covered personally, boots on the ground. This is the first time my car had ever been searched. And, you know, there's a piece of me that felt like that should be the standard operating procedure when we have a missing child. You know, not only should we, we should always dot our I's and cross our T's. When law enforcement goes into one of these missing children's cases, they really don't know what they have. They don't know if they really have a runaway. They don't know if they have a child that's been groomed or kidnapped or abducted for a reason, or, you know, ran away from home, or just at a friend's house and forgot to call home, or if they've been truly, something truly bad has happened to them. They don't know. So you would think that they would want to, especially in those beginning hours, minutes and hours and days, you know, be covering their six, you know, checking cars, making sure it's not something more serious. I just felt like out of all the cases I've been to, even though I was kind of taken back that I was being searched, I still started thinking about how many children's cases I've been, I've covered over the years, and never once has my car been searched. And I thought for that moment, why hasn't my car been searched more than now? I mean, you're talking about children that we didn't know what happened to. So why wouldn't they be searching? I think it needs to be a standard operating procedure moving forward to start searching vehicles when we have missing children. It should be, I mean, it doesn't take any, it takes, like, they had three cops, that, I mean, granted, it's three cops taken away from being out in the woods or searching or whatever. But again, it's only three cops. Bring three other ones in if you need those hands. But three cops can really be checking cars. I just think that was a fabulous idea. And for this to be the only time that I've ever had my car searched with all the children we've covered, I don't know. I feel like it needs to be standard operating procedures in cases, missing children cases. Maybe not missing person, but definitely missing children. Or even if you want to go there, maybe missing children under 12, right? Missing children under 12, I think, should have at least a car search. I'm sorry. That's just how I feel.
I am truly sickened.
This is going to get difficult, guys.
What this investigation has uncovered. From the moment Javea was reported missing, the sheriff's office, as well as our law enforcement partners and first responders, we responded with urgency, determination, and compassion. What started as an exhaustive and complex search quickly grew to something that I would have never imagined. Now, understand, I cannot discuss all the details. Understand that I cannot discuss all the specific details in this case. But at this time, I can share that a few human remains were recovered in an area known as Cedar Creek Reservoir, also known as Stumpy Pond in Fairfield County. These remains were immediately sent to the State Law Enforcement Division, and through analysis, the DNA of the remains are consistent with being the biological offspring of Jamaria and Michela. I want to also share with you that through forensic evidence, statements, and analysis, extensive and deliberate efforts were made to destroy and conceal evidence following Javea's death.
Unbelievable.
Our information reveals
this is going to get harder.
The use of corrosive chemicals.
There it is.
And other tools that were used to accelerate the destruction of her little body. After this was completed, these two individuals poured what remains were left of Javea into the Cedar Creek Reservoir.
So that is highly disturbing to hear. But think about all of our other children that we have missing that we've never been able to find. Think about the people in some of those stories that had access to chemicals that are corrosive. In one such case we're covering, the step-grandfather was actually charged with the chemical several years ago, or many years. I don't remember how many years ago. Maybe it was several, like decades ago, a couple decades ago. I can't remember. Whatever the case may be, still a charge. This brings up a lot because even in another case, we have little barrels all over the property that many people's like, are you sure they didn't check these or check those? Did they check everything? And we don't know, because in Tennessee, they don't really check. They don't really check. This is obviously not Tennessee, but it's South Carolina. But still, I mean, this is not the first family that would think of this. So how many other cases do we have where there's a creek near and around them that just needs to be checked for potential bones or other fragments? I don't know. This right here, this news, this learning about her remains being in corrosive chemicals and being poured into the Cedar Creek Reservoir, this can't be the first time one of our cases is like this. Yet we've never discussed this in any of our cases. This is opening a door to something completely different in our cases and in our toolbox when it comes to cases like this. This is highly disturbing. So if you guys are just tuning in to the Bullhorn Betty channel, the Crime Stories channel, we're breaking news. This was not part of our original segment. We'll get into our original segment here in just a little bit. But there was a press conference on a case that we're covering on the main channel, Javea Harris. I was out there personally when she went missing. Before they realized the parents had done something. It was just, I went out there with a clean mind. I just thought she wandered off, but even the elements and the terrain out there made me very, very concerned about the safety of the child. And then we find out that the parents' story isn't quite adding up. And as soon as I heard the father, I knew that they are lying and that this child was dead. And then shortly thereafter, we found out the parents were arrested. They were arrested without bond. And obviously we could tell by the way this case was progressing that somebody was cooperating, if not both of them. And so now they were finally told, after searching for Javea, they were finally, I would presume, told where they dumped the chemicals, the liquid, out into the reservoir. And obviously the liquid didn't disintegrate everything. So they were able to identify some bones, some of her remains. They will later in this say that this is it. They don't anticipate on bringing any more of her back. She's gone, guys. Little Javea Harris is gone.
These subjects went through great lengths to cover their repulsive and revolting actions.
DNA they can get back in 24 hours now.
In my 37-year career in law enforcement,
they got rapid DNA.
I've never, ever heard of anything so horrific.
Wow.
As a result of this information, it's unlikely that the entirety of Javea's body or any other remains from this point forward will be recovered.
So sad.
And I'll say this again, we had all hoped and prayed to find her body, but with the information we've uncovered, that's simply not possible. I want to also announce additional charges for destruction and desecration of human remains have been filed against these two individuals.
It's just not enough. It's just never enough.
I know this is heartbreaking for anyone who's followed this case. It's heartbreaking for our office. For all the law enforcement across the state that's worked on this case, countless hours to find every piece of evidence with the hope of bringing Javea home. It's heartbreaking to our community. Our commitment has been to pursue the truth, regardless of how difficult it may be. While no announcement can lessen the profound loss in this case, our commitment remains unchanged. Today is not only about the evidence recovered, it's about a child whose life was taken far too soon.
Yeah.
While today marks a painful chapter in this case, It does not end our work. Our investigators will continue to pursue every lead, examine every piece of evidence, and work closely with the Second Circuit Solicitor's Office to ensure that justice for Javeya is pursued. I ask you to pray. Pray for Javeya and her extended family, our staff, all these other law enforcement agencies, and this community. Again, I want to thank all these law enforcement partners, local, state, federal, other first responders who assisted in this case. But from the time I announced at my last press conference that...
And I also want to say one thing. It was hot as hell out there. And that is no joke. Okay? I was out there. I was hot. I was very, very, you guys saw me. It was hot. These guys are in uniform. They don't get to be in thin shirts and comfortable shoes. They have to be in all of this gear searching for this young lady. It was hot out there. And I can't imagine what it was like deeper in those forests as they were looking for this child. And these brave men and women went out there as hot as it was. The heat never stopped them, never slowed them down. So just, I think they deserve a round of applause. Hopefully you guys can hear that. I never know if my sound card's working with StreamYard or not. It's so funny coming back to StreamYard. I forget how to use it. I almost forget how to use it, but it just makes it easier for this other channel because it's just a pain with OBS to run two different channels from it.
The investigation had taken us outside of Aiken County. I specifically want to thank the State Law Enforcement Division, South Carolina DNR, and Sheriff Will Montgomery and the Fairfield County Sheriff's Office. These DNR divers spent hours and hours and hours searching. Finally, I want to again thank our community. Throughout this investigation, you've demonstrated compassion, encouragement, patience, and prayers. We recognize the emotional impact this case has had on so many, and we thank you for standing with us. Together, this community has shown that even in the face of tragedy, compassion, unity, and service remain stronger than the darkness we've encountered. I'm going to take a few questions, but if it didn't come from this press release, you're probably not going to get much more.
Okay, so that's kind of where we're going to stop our engagement on this because, again, this is related to Javeya Harris, and, there are going to be some questions. It cuts it off after this because this was a rerun even on this segment, so I didn't even get to hear the questions after this. It just goes back to the segment host, and I only wanted the press conference for the purposes of this show, just to give you guys an update. Again, breaking news right now, little Javeya Harris, the little 4-year-old girl out of Aiken, South Carolina, has her remains have been recovered, or remains consistent with the mom and dad's DNA. That's kind of how they put it. The state law enforcement, it seems like, found their dive teams are what found the remains of her potentially. Corrosive chemicals were used. Corrosive chemicals and other tools were used to accelerate the destruction of her body. These are statements made by the sheriff here. She was poured into the Cedar Creek Reservoir. I repeat, she was poured into the Cedar Creek Reservoir, and they believe that no other remains of her will be recovered in this case. So those are the updates that we have on little Javeya Harris. Again, that was the one we did boots on the ground when we were going out to South Carolina for the Elena Moore case. This little girl was missing, and one of my mods heard about it and said, hey, how far away are you? I looked, I was only 45 minutes. We went out there. It was shortly after that I learned that these people had just moved into that location, that they literally isolated themselves from family and friends. We originally learned that this child was autistic and nonverbal. We find out yesterday when we were reviewing the 911 call that that's not even true. How that started being passed around, that was in the official report that I had originally reviewed, but when I was going out there. So I don't know how, especially with the 911 call saying that she could talk, I don't know how those lines got crossed. Somehow or another, they said, oh, no, she's autistic or something. We don't know how all of that happened. Now, the sheriff also speaks and states that her life was nothing short of horrific. So we've got a lot of information here. And it's the reason why I pulled this in here, and we're going to have a bigger talk on this first thing in the morning. It's not going to get our 9 o'clock segment, but tomorrow morning when we come in here for our main show, our first morning show on the main channel, we're going to be talking about Sebastian Rogers' case as well as Summer Wells' case. I think if there's breaking news on any of our main cases that we're covering right now, we'll obviously cover those in the morning segment. But I think we're going to focus because those are two cases where we have barrels on Summer Wells' property. Barrels. That's definitely something that could have been chemicals be used. Would Don know about that? Absolutely, he would. And then in Sebastian Rogers' case, let's not forget that Terry Bowersox, Chris Proudfoot's stepfather, has been charged with anhydrous ammonia charges back several years ago. I think it was more than several years. I think it was a couple decades ago or something like that. But obviously still aware, and that's the point, still very knowledgeable about what? Chemicals. And this is the first time that we have covered a case where corrosive chemicals is a topic of conversation with the Javea Harris case. Yeah, we need to start talking about this. This cannot be the first time that this was used. This cannot be the first case that's ever thought to literally disintegrate a corpse. So this is going to be pretty interesting, and I think we need to look in the statistics of this because we have a lot of people missing, and we keep wondering that obviously kids can't go poof, be gone, but clearly there is a path forward because it's in the black and white at this point. So it's got me very, very, very concerned. So anyways, let's go ahead and move on with our regular show. Our regular show is now starting, guys. I didn't put this in because I didn't expect to have a press conference. One of my mods reached out to me and said that there was a press conference on Javea Harris. I listened to it. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is a major situation. We need to, Javea Harris is on our main channel, not our small channel. So we're going to have to rerun this tomorrow morning in our news segment, or maybe even tonight in our news segment. We'll find out. But anyways, a young father, let me go ahead and pull these up. There we go. So our breaking news from around the country. There we go. From around the country, and predominantly we start off with the state of Florida because that's where I reside, and then we move from that. We move from that. So right now we have a young father identified as 32-year-old Mike Menard was shot and killed while sitting in his car outside his parents' home in Lauderdale Manor neighborhood of Fort Lauderdale early Wednesday morning around 4:30 a.m. I wonder why anybody is sitting out at 4:30 a.m. It's not a good time to be out. Just saying. On July 8th, July 8th, surveillance videos show a gunman running up to the vehicle, firing, and then fleeing in another car. Homicide detectives are leading the investigation, and Fort Lauderdale police are asking the public for tips and anonymous information via Broward Crime Stoppers 954 493-8477. And we're going to discuss this little article here so you guys are up to date. But before we do, I might as well go ahead and pop this up.
We just learned it was a young father who was shot and killed. CBS News Miami's Morgan Reiner is your reporter live at the scene. And Morgan, you spoke to his father.
Yeah, as you can imagine, the victim's father is devastated. He said his son was a bright young man who had recently gotten in with the wrong crowd. He said that you can see the moment his son walks out of the house seconds before he is shot, that he was just doing household chores.
Just doing household chores at 4:30. Maybe he's an early riser. Because I'm usually up between 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning. So surveillance video shows the moment leading to the fatal shooting. A young South Florida father shot, killed while sitting in a car early Wednesday morning. It shows Michael Menard taking out the trash from his parents' home at the Northwest 13th Court in Fort Lauderdale Wednesday morning, walking out the gate to his car. Videos from another angle shows a gunman running up to the car and opening fire opening fire before returning to another car and speeding off. 2 police, 3 police, 4 police. I don't know what that's all about, but he said his son was born in Haiti but moved to the United States when he was 3 years old. He said he excelled at school and was the first in the family to go to college. So terrible, terrible, terrible story. Now that we're already through almost our first hour, our first half hour, I'm going to kind of speed up just a little bit our commentary on the next shows. I would like to try to wrap this up within an hour if possible. But if we go over a little bit, we go over a little bit. Now, this next story is in Sebastian. This is Indian River County, Florida. Another sad case. Deputies are investigating the death of a 44-year-old James Thompson as suspicious. Browser has lost connection to screen share audio. Try sharing. Ugh. All right, this is why I hate. Let me go out and go back in. We're already having screen share issues. This is one of the things that I just loathe when it comes to StreamYard. This is exactly why I stopped using StreamYard, is because of this audio crap. Anyways, so this is a 44-year-old James Thompson suspicious after his body was found face down near the shoreline of St. Sebastian River off of US 1 on Monday, July 6th. The sheriff's office issued an update report on July 8th. Thompson was last seen that morning walking from the nearby Sebastian Sands Motel. So they don't know if this is a robbery, heart attack, but they are awaiting autopsy and toxicology reports while they continue to gather information. So this is in, again, Sebastian, which is Indian Rivers County.
Of a man found along the shoreline near the Sebastian River Bridge in Indian River County. Deputies have now identified that victim as 44-year-old James Thompson and say that he was last seen walking away from the nearby hotel in that area off US 1 in Sebastian. CBS 12 News reporter Antoinette Delbel joins us live from there after speaking exclusively with the man's grandmother.
Now, the family is grieving tonight, but the grandmother tells me that they have a strong support system. This motel behind me is where deputies...
A strong support system, but it's not leading us to gather any additional information. Did he get robbed? I mean, you know, when you hear about somebody in this day and age, when you hear somebody staying in a hotel, you just can't assume that they're there vacationing. You know, there's a lot of people that have to use hotels to live in because the cost of living is out of control and people can't afford rents. People can't afford to buy houses. They can't afford it.
Say Thompson was last seen. It's about 2 blocks from where his body was found. And today, investigators were back out there collecting more evidence. Tonight, Thompson's grandmother shares why she believes her grandson was struggling before his death.
He cared about his family. He was a very loving young man.
Speaking exclusively with CBS 12 News, Beverly Marker.
Anyways, I'll give you guys the short and skinny of it. It sounds like there's substance abuse involved in this particular case, and it sounds like he was staying at the hotel. Highlands Sheriff's Office, let me go ahead and move this over as we move on through our breaking news segment. Highlands County Sheriff's Office has opened a death investigation after human remains were discovered. With a public update posted the afternoon of July 8th, the brief notice confirmed that deputies are treating the discovery as a major case and a formal investigation into the circumstances and identity is underway. We don't have any audio for this particular story, but just remains found. So if you're in Highlands, Florida, they don't even really give us an area where they were found or are at. But if you have a missing loved one in Highlands, I would definitely be reaching out to Highlands County Sheriff at this moment, because your loved one may have been found. We have no earthly idea at this moment. So we also have another case. This is coming out of Sarasota, my backyard. If you guys know, Manatee County is just north of Sarasota. Sarasota is further down. This is a teen-on-teen crime. Teen-on-teen crime. There's a teen dead in the morgue, and there's a teen arrested. We've covered several of these cases of teen-on-teen crime, and it is sad. I don't know what is creating this culture with our young men that they feel when they can't get along with somebody or have a disagreement with somebody or something to that effect, they feel that that person has to pay with their life. I really, really, really don't understand that mindset, that mentality. But more and more, we don't really have a lot of these teen-on-teen crimes in my community. We just don't. It's becoming more common, but in all fairness, it's just not something that we deal a whole lot with. But again, becoming more and more common. It's becoming more and more common everywhere. Why are we having these issues? Why are our young people so easily led astray? Because it only takes, you could have 100. This is what people don't understand. You can have 100 great, well-bodied children that grow up to be great young people and young adults. And it only takes one person, one, that can destroy a lot of those hundreds' life. Just one. We have a serious situation that has been played out across this country, and we all have watched it and heard it. I believe there have been a few teens that have been shot and killed. I believe that there's been somebody that's been even charged with second-degree murder because they didn't know how to handle the incident. And it's where the teens door kicking challenge. This door kicking and challenge, again, I think we did. I'm almost positive, like a few months ago, we had a situation where this guy ran after these kids and was shooting at them. And I'm pretty sure this was the first time we were covering this door kicking challenge. And if I recall correctly, I am pretty sure that one child at least has been killed over this challenge by a homeowner. And I'm also confident that homeowner is facing second-degree homicide charges because of it, but it's not bringing back the kid. I mean, it's a pretty permanent situation. You know what I'm saying? So we have this teen door kicking challenge, but this time the situation has been flipped. It is no longer you're going to kick our door and you're not going to have any consequences. In Tennessee, they said, oh, no, you're putting yourself in danger. And what do? We lock you up. So in Franklin, Tennessee, social media stunt has teenagers kicking the front door of occupied homes in the middle of the night, landed 10 people. Put this up here. There you go. Landed 10 people in custody in Franklin, where police warn the trend could get somebody killed. Social media trends called door kick challenge has reached Franklin. In the challenge, participants record themselves forcefully kicking or pounding on front doors of occupied homes and then running away. Just after 11 p.m. Tuesday, officers received multiple calls from residents near Chestnut Lane and Liberty Pike reporting that people were kicking their doors and then fleeing. So for Franklin County Sheriff, they get a big old Bullhorn Betty. Woo-hoo-hoo! Lock their asses up. I want to know why mommy and daddy don't know where their freaking kids are. That's what I'd like to know. Stupid crime of the week. Maybe I should say of the day. Right here. This door kicking challenge. Stupid. Just plain stupid. To absolutely get somebody killed. And we just want to say, way to go, Franklin County Sheriff. But you know what? Franklin County Sheriff, it's time for you to be eyeballing those parents too. Because children, teenagers, should not be out at night this late to wreak havoc. Excuse me. Somebody is not watching their children. And for you parents out there that don't want to watch your children, they're starting to lock your asses up if you haven't noticed. So if I were you, I'd start watching your children. I'm just saying. Casey Anthony comes to mind. Oh, good gracious. She's now a freaking content creator, or what do they call them? Influencer. She's not a content creator. She's an influencer. Ooh, an influencer. An influencer on what? How to murder a kid? I should stop. That's satire. But I'm just saying. So there was also, this particular next case took me back. I'm not going to lie. The reason why it showed up on the Bullhorn Betty channel is because of the details of this particular case. The details of this case are that a body was found in a portable restroom. In San Antonio, Texas, a body was found in a portable restroom over July 4th holiday, and the police say the death is still unexplained and under active investigation. Now, I'm trying to pull the story up, but it doesn't look like there's a whole much of a story here other than what I told you. The man, according to the report, was 61 years old. San Antonio Police Department said in a report, it is currently unknown what led up to the man arriving at the location and eventually dying at the scene. Police added that there were no signs of foul play at the time of the report. The report was made. The 61-year-old man had not been positively identified. There is an active and ongoing investigation into the man's death. But I mean, heart attack. I mean, I don't know. That's a shitty way to die. That's awful. I'm so sorry. That was horrible. That was horrible of me. Okay, that was horrible of me. I don't care. I couldn't help it. You guys can beat me up. We already had somebody say, and you think it's a freaking joke in our last lives. And you're like, oh my God, do you think this is a comedy hour? It's like, well, do you want me to surgically remove the stick from your ass? I'm sorry. I'm very sorry that this 61-year-old man, died. In a portable bathroom on July 4th. I mean, I'm sorry. Anybody with a dull personality could really light the room up if you get my drift. I'm sorry. Unprofessional of me. Guys, this is going to hit because we were just talking, guys. I'm serious. On non-satire mode, this is going to... We just had Javea Harris, and we just started dovetailing into Sebastian Rogers' case just a little bit. Well, we've got something else that dovetails into Sebastian Rogers' case on a serious note. Guess what? A body was found in Horn Island. Now, if you guys remember Horn Lake, Mississippi, do you guys remember why we remember Horn Lake, Mississippi? We remember Horn Lake, Mississippi because Sebastian's stepfather, Chris Proudfoot, was staying there in a trailer. He was staying at the Yogi Bear campground. What was it? Gosh, I remember the Yogi Bear, but I don't know if it's called Yogi Bear Campground. I can't remember the name of the campground. But it was in Horn Lake, Mississippi. Now, I don't believe the body has anything to do with Sebastian. That's not the purpose of me bringing this breaking news. It's not that. But it's the fact that a body was found in Horn Lake or Horn Island, Mississippi. How far is Horn Island from Horn Lake? If they're near, are we looking in wrong places? Would he be looking, would we be looking in stuff like that? So the Horn Lake, body recovered in a water on an island, is kind of a scene that quickly shifts from recovery to homicide or missing person identification. Jackson County Sheriff John Ledbetter said an active investigation is underway. A body in the water on an island creates immediate questions about identity, transportation, and whether foul play was involved. Jackson County office and Gulf Coast local stations are the best news to check, so I'll be updating myself on that. And that is pretty interesting because there were two things that kind of bring me back to this area, to the Sebastian Rogers case. But nobody really entertained the Mississippi angle in the Sebastian Rogers case because for me, I've always felt that Chris came back that night. I always felt that his attitude, his demeanor, his behavior at work that got him kicked off the job. Now, Chris Proudfoot was kicked off his job because he was distracted, he was disgruntled, he was not himself. How do you have somebody that's completely off their game the same day that their child disappears and has nothing to do with it? He didn't even want to leave to go back to the house. He would have done a full day's worth of work out there in Tennessee, in Memphis, Tennessee. So did we really take the angle of Horn Lake, Mississippi really serious? We never did a real good, thorough search out there, although we believe that if he did come home, he may have detoured there before going straight to work. But we don't know because we know that Sumner County didn't know what the hell they were doing, and this man was able to leave without a tail because they're idiots. Yogi Bear Jellystone Park. There it is. YouTuber. Yep, that's it. That is it. That is it. So we covered a lot today. The most heartbreaking is Javea Harris, but it's the most enlightening case because we've had a lot of people disappear. And out of all the places we think that they could be hidden or put or disposed of, not one time have we ever really truly entertained the chemical corrosive angle. This is a true, they stuck this poor baby in chemicals and let the chemicals do the job and then poured her into a river. Poured her in. How many, you cannot tell me that this is the first family that thought of that. How many other people, not just children, but how many other people do we have missing that we are never going to find? We need to start re-looking and refocusing our cases and looking at these with different lenses because we have people that have literally poof gone. Is there a stream nearby that we should be looking into for maybe fragments, bones, teeth? The chemicals don't destroy everything. There's something still left. There was still something left of little Javea. If you guys are just coming in and you want the update on the little girl, we just got a press conference. They did find whatever pieces of her body are left. They did recover some remains. The parents used corrosive chemicals to accelerate and to accelerate the destruction of her body. They poured her into Cedar Creek Reservoir. The sheriff talks about this being nothing short of horrific, and they are confident that there's nothing else to recover of Javea. So that's kind of the breaking news that wasn't really on our breaking news coverage section this morning, but because it was sent to me as we started, we went ahead because that was truly breaking news right then and there. And then we went over a few other breaking news cases. If you guys are just coming in, if you're just seeing me for the first time, this is the Bullhorn Betty Crime Stories. I appreciate you guys being here. We are trying to do a show every day here about the breaking news cases around the state of Florida and around the United States of America that we don't get to cover too much on our regular show. Our regular show is more of deep diving into specific cases, specific active and ongoing cases. In many cases, we very rarely do any cold cases or other, solved case analysis. We usually do active, but we don't have time to go over a lot of the truly breaking news, the day-to-day breaking news. And this was just a way to bring the breaking news to you and to utilize this second channel in some type of productive way, right? So I hope you guys like this. If you guys do have breaking news in your community, you guys are more than welcome to send that to me every evening for its production in the next show. So you can't send it to me in the morning and expect it to be part of the show in the morning, but or this show in the afternoon. But we will try to do at least a show a day to kind of cover all of these other nuances and breaking news, breaking criminal news around the country. Who knows? We might find something that kind of reels us in, I mean, there's a lot of stuff breaking all over this country that we miss on a day-to-day basis. And I think this is a great way to kind of bring all of that into the fold. So if you guys like it, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. Don't forget to hype your girl Betty. And we will see you tomorrow for our breaking news update again. Thanks, guys. This was a great show. I'm so happy. I'm so happy to be back on StreamYard for this channel. I might keep StreamYard for this channel and some other things whenever I want to incorporate multiple platforms. We might be doing that. I might decide to go ahead and get StreamYard up for multiple platforms so we can have our OBS run through there, so we can put OBS on multiple platforms. I'm not sure how I'm going to incorporate StreamYard, but I think maybe I could use both systems. And this was really good. So I appreciate all of you guys being here. And we will see you tomorrow because I'm a love machine. Ow! What did I do? Gotta bring me back. There we go. Let's do it again. There we go. Because I'm a love machine. It muted it at the end. I know. I hit the little thingy. It's the connections are so. But anyways, guys, this is great. We'll see you guys tomorrow. And don't forget, tonight at 9 p.m. So you guys are not going to see me until 9 p.m. on the main channel, and that's when we start breaking down. We're going back to the first 60 days of the Nancy Guthrie case and really looking at maybe some things that we forgot about, we missed, that haven't been resolved, right? Because if we forgot about them and they haven't been resolved, it might take us down a different little avenue to research and to acquire different leads. So come back. We'll see you around 9 o'clock tonight on our main channel, and we'll see you soon. God bless.